All right, this is kind of a dope trick to make your guitar sound like a synthesizer. Basically, I took my guitar and I just played one long chord for a whole note, one whole measure, and then I took it and I reversed that file, and then I added a couple effects to that reversed file, right? I added a little bit of chorus, a little bit of roto cab just to give it a little bit more movement, a little bit more kind of like that synthy feel, right? And then I automated the EQ to raise right at the end of it, so it just kind of has this cool little whoosh feeling, and I layered that with the main guitar, so it sounds like a nice guitar, but underneath it, it has this whoosh, that synthy kind of thing, right? So you hear it like this. And then from there, I'm just trying to add like normal guitar parts, right, that don't really step on each other. So I took this basic like eighth note idea, and I want my eighth notes to be as static as possible. So I want to find the right notes that just match with the chords, with not moving as much, right? So I was able to find these two notes that fit perfectly with our first three chords, and it kind of worked out like this. Eighth notes are great to layer over whole notes because they're not stepping on each other, right? And it's providing this nice little rhythm. So I took those eighth notes, panned them to the left just a little bit, and then I give it a little bit more space. And then I want to add little guitar fills, right? So I found out where the vocal's at. I got my track here, and I had just really, really simple guitar fills. We're not trying to be flashy or anything. We're just trying to add a little bit of extraness to the extraness. I'm just trying to add a little bit of extra something to this track, right? Fill out the space. So we got that right there. I panned that a little bit to the right. So now I got my eighth notes on the left, my fills on the right, and then I still have my main guitar part that's just right down the middle and holding down that main rhythm, right? So it kind of goes like this. Now, when it comes to layering guitar parts, we want to think about it like two different elements, almost like an XY axis. So we have one element going through time, which is basically like making sure they're not stepping on each other. So I talked about those first two elements, those first two guitar layers. One's a whole note and one's eighth notes on top. Through time, they're not stepping on each other. They're actually perfectly in sync with each other and complementing each other rhythmically. So that's a beautiful thing. But then you have the other level, the y-axis going up, and it's thinking about more like the frequency spectrum. So if I have those two guitar parts, I don't want them both exactly on that same frequency. So I'm just gonna EQ it a little bit, so maybe one has less highs than the other, and they're just fitting both equally that way, and that's how you layer them just so beautifully. So I could take all these parts, and of course I want to make sure that I'm not stepping on the vocals too. So I could do all that, add a little guitar solo, and I got a little jam like this.
What say you if I decide to go with you? I live with you, and I decide to be with you. Are you ready? Are you ready for me? Are you ready? Are you ready for me? What say you if I decide to go with you? I live with you, and I decide to be with you. Are you ready? Are you ready for me? Are you ready? Are you ready for me? decide to go with you. I live with you, and I decide to be with you. Are you ready? Are you ready for me? Are you ready? Are you ready for